Sean, it's Scream Week. Scream Week is here. Our first major new release of the new year, if you don't count the 355, which we'll talk about in a little
which
bit.
We probably won't.
Yeah, true. Which we won't count that one because I don't even think the studio counts it. But it is Scream Week. We are going to talk about Disney and them moving the most recent Pixar film, the upcoming Pixar film, to the. You know what? Let's just start this shit over. I'm not feeling that intro.
Yeah, was that rough? Was that rough to jump into Scream Week like that?
I don't know. It was rough for me. I was just going to say something really bad. Anyway, here's how we'll do it. You know. Hey, Sean, welcome to the podcast. It's another week, and we are diving into Scream Week. I don't know why I keep bringing this up. This intro is not going well.
I mean, hey, I think we all just need to face the fact that we're having an intro on a Monday, and I'm not going anywhere with it either. But yeah.
Sean, we have a new format where we do an intro to begin with, so let's just start this way. Intro here. You didn't have anything to say there?
Oh, I thought like you wanted to like start it all over. Change the game just now. I have a rave.
These are the best ideas I've ever heard.
I'm saying that's the commentary that will exist.
A Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Defiled Mickey Mouse.
Oh my god!
I was just dancing to it and doing that like TikTok trend where everyone's like, you know, it was so hard when I filmed my TikTok video. But hey, welcome to the Guide to Movies podcast with Joe and Sean. I am Joe. He is Sean. It is episode 79 of this prestigious, well-awarded podcast. And we are here to start your week off right with some movie chat.
We really hope that you will enjoy on your Tuesday morning or your Monday night if you're watching live. We hope that you enjoy all the movie knowledge that we will give to you, and then you can promptly throw away into the gutter.
Unrivaled movie knowledge. We should mention that Willy's Wonderland creator Gio Parsons was going to be with us tonight, but due to some scheduling stuff on our end, my end, we ended up just moving Gio to a future episode so that we're not moving him around so much tonight with so much uncertainty in terms of recording. But he's very excited to be a part of this and to join us, and we can't wait to have him in a couple of weeks. So look towards the end of January for that, likely. And this is Scream Week, the first major release that I'm excited for.
Yes, definitely the first major release that we're excited for, because it was I'll let you handle the 355, but we will both talk about it. But technically, that's the first 2022 release, and if that's the case, let's just call Scream the first one.
Yeah, true. I'm with you there, but we'll dive into that. But yeah, Scream Week, it's getting good reviews. I know we're all excited to see kind of what they do to revive it. Revive it's not the right word because it never died, but to take it in a new direction as they have pitched. So let's see what they offer us. I'm very excited. Can't wait. All right. We like to start off with trailers, and one movie that you mentioned you were very excited for weeks ago was Jackass Forever. And hey, we have a new trailer because why not?
I truly can't wait for this movie because it does look doubly as wholesome as it is just their same asshole ways. And let's see this thing.
Did you just describe it as wholesome?
I honestly, there is a wholesome nature to this kind of. I promise you, there something feels wholesome to this.
Right.
We can talk about it after.
All right, here we go.
The world waited for what felt like forever. Then, we waited longer. But this February, we promise.
This is gonna be the gnarliest shit ever.
The wait is over.
Hello, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up.
If they trust us to go to the bathroom, they're less intelligent than I thought.
Life in the drawer, but I know enough. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
You're still blowing people up.
As if life's not hard enough.
This guy's one badass dude right here.
Oh man, I'm on Jackass.
It's a Texas rat snake.
Venomous?
Francis hits harder than any heavyweight in MMA. I told Aaron it was a lightweight.
That's not a lightweight. What are you guys talking about?
We're in this together, Pops.
What's the worst that can happen?
You said it wasn't gonna feel like anything.
I just need you to sit with my grandpa. Just make sure he doesn't smoke.
It ain't a bunch of NASA scientists writing this. Can I get a cold brew?
Will you make him an actual coffee, Stephanie?
Here, I made you another one.
It's gotta be over, dude. I think we're all the way finished with fruit. Stick a fork in it.
Oh my god.
I know. So I said it before, and you scoffed at me at calling these movies wholesome. There's something about them that is wholesome, of the friends that are just screwing with each other and messaging or messing with each other in the most horrific of ways at times. But you can tell that they all genuinely have a respect and a love for each other, which is hidden a lot in nut shots and pranks. But and it just seems like in this one, it is this is their, of course there's going to be 8 more after this, but this is their final bow. At least it seems like that. And it'll be good to see them all go out on this note that really just seems like they're sewing this all up in pure juvenile glory.
It looks a little bit more like some of the prank movies. What's that one that came out on Netflix last year?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I forget the name, but Eric Andre is in both of them. He was in charge of that one. Oh man, now it escapes me too.
Not Road Trip, something like that.
Bad Trip. Bad Trip. Yeah, but everyone really did love Bad Trip as well. It skipped right over me, and I should probably check that one out first. But I think he did a lot of the stuff that Jackass did, where he just sort of exposed the good in humanity, like this one seems to be doing as well, in people trying to watch The Grandfather and everything.
And it's also just largely mindless entertainment that we need. We don't get a lot of it. It kind of takes me back to being in I guess in high school with Jackass and stuff when they first were really, making it big. But it looks like it's a cast of characters. It looks fascinating. I, as always with these, hope that they don't haven't shared the entire movie in the 2 trailers that I've seen. But I'm excited for it.
I mean, listen, I am a highbrow film snob if there ever was one, but a person getting hit in the nuts will never not be funny. It just won't. You can do it, can do a whole movie of it. It just won't be. It will never stop being funny, and it truly is.
Oh man! All right, let's move into what we've been watching. We need to start with the 355. Speaking of not funny, the 355 I was very excited or very happy about the first line of my review. Call Marie Kondo because this film's a mess. I was very frustrated by this because when it was getting the negative reviews last week or prior to its release, I was wondering how a movie with such star power could be that bad. And we're talking about Jessica Chastain, Diane Kruger, Lupita Nyong'o, Penelope Cruz, Edgar Ramirez, Sebastian Stan, Simon Kinberg is the director, which isn't necessarily the biggest.
We'll be talking about that asshole because he is the one that screwed this one up. But you can keep on going.
Well, we'll leave the fight with Simon to you.
Yeah.
I think what was most frustrating was that they didn't spend any time establishing the plot. And I'm someone that's always I love action. So if you want to overload a movie with action and stuff, that's great. But I think of a movie like Six Underground that got panned because it was it's just all crazy action. There's not much to it. But at least you knew what was going on. They took the few minutes to set up, here's what's happening. This just aside from what they were trying to stop and what they were trying to retrieve, I should say, in order to stop, you didn't have any idea about the relationship between all these individuals. They were just all women thrown into this mix with no background. It was so frustrating to me. And like, that when a movie's called The 355 and it's a very odd name, you're going into it wondering what's the 355 mean. And when you don't find out until minute, I don't know, 1
minute 355.
Yeah. There's a problem with that. They just completely fumbled this all around. The actors did what they could, but it was just shitty writing. It's a really bad script, in my opinion. It could have been something better. I think what really irritates me is probably what I'll get into as a rant later on, but these types of movies that get half-assed and they're like, oh, look, it's an all-women action flick and all that. They half-ass them. And then people are like, well, they don't work. They don't work because they don't give them good shit to work with. And this is a fine example of that. And it can work. I mean, Angelina Jolie has fronted how many action flicks where she just carries the day. And we've seen The Old Guard was a popular one when that hit Netflix 2 years ago. There's examples out there, but for the first big wide release to be touted as like the female action, bombshell of the not bombshell, female action, like whatever of the year, and then deliver this shitty product, not into it.
Yeah, you mentioned it at the very beginning. How could this be so bad with all these movie stars? And the movie stars are really what saved this movie and save it as much as it can be saved.
Actually, work
watchable. And I did enjoy it for watching them. Like Penelope Cruz is doing some amazing work in here. Like she's like putting in way more than anyone else is. Jessica Chastain always does like a great lead movie star performance. Lupita's just wonderful. Diane Kruger is kicking butt. I really loved all of them in it, but you're right. The plot was given no breath at all. All of a sudden, they are involved in this, and they are written to be terrible spies. Like they are the least covert spies I've ever seen in my life. Like I remember watching them. I'm like, I guess in a movie you got to be obvious, but holy crap! I think the director you mentioned, his name is Simon Kinberg. Yeah. The action movie scenes are directed so terribly in this. Between the quick cuts to the very awkward sort of zooms, it's very confusing to even tell what's going on.
Yeah.
And that was just probably some of the most annoying stuff. And yeah, this left me with just a big heap of disappointment where I was, rooting for this going in. I had my doubts, obviously, because the trailer was showing up a lot and it's an early January. So my doubts were there, but I really based on all of these people in there, I wanted this to work and it worked for them, but it just, it worked in spite of them, but it still just didn't work as a whole.
Yeah, it's a really weird one because it's just over bloated with action and stuff. And again, that's usually something I enjoy, go crazy with all that, but at the expense of a story.
Yeah.
And that was most frustrating to me. It could have been a solid story, but
yeah. I loved the very end when they're all sitting outside of Sebastian Stan's house, and it was just, they'll never know what we did for them. No men will ever know what we did for them. I think we're better than most men. I was like, oh boy, now we're having some trouble, everybody. I want the girl power theme in there bad, but yikes.
No comment. Yeah.
No, there's no comment that can be had.
That was just. They're like, in case we didn't get it across because we know we didn't. Here's what we intend. Stupid.
Oh boy.
What have you been watching, Sean?
Wasn't it great that we just agreed? So the next one is the Tender Bar. I watched that one. You watched that one a little while ago. You were able to get the screener for that one. I could have gone into the theater, but I made a pact with my wife that if it's available on streaming, even if it comes in later, I would watch it on streaming just so that I'm saving money. And so I waited. I saved my $12.
Pandemic be damned.
That too. But with this, the Tender Bar, I will say this: I enjoyed myself. And that's the part that I'll give it there. Best part about this movie, which I think everyone agrees in the world, if they have seen this movie, the best part about this movie is Ben Affleck. Absolutely great performance. I don't know if it's the casting or the decisions he's making on the roles he's taking or the casting decisions, but he is taking movies that surround his celebrity in the best ways. and surround the public's perception of him in the best of ways. I've been seeing him on the screen these past like few years, and I've just been absolutely loving what he's been doing.
The Way Back and stuff, and
Way Back, and then we have his great performance in The Last Duel, which is like a note of like his attention to celebrity and this like brilliantly humorous performance.
Not to get too sidetracked, but he has been talking recently, or at least did an interview with, I want to say it was Variety or Total Film or something, and he was talking about how like his time on Joss Whedon's Justice League really tore him apart. And that it sounds like from that, he kind of had this thing like this epiphany or this, new direction for himself, that he was only going to take roles that he was really interested in. And he wasn't going to be pushed to feeling like he had to do something. So I think you're kind of seeing that play out, or the roles that he cares about. And I'm glad that that's happening.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because even his Batman is a type of like Ben Affleck role where, it's not like Bruce Wayne's an ex-alcoholic in the Batman movies, but he's been through shit.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like he's on the other end of it, and he's old as hell, and he's like, okay, I gotta I'm trying to like like help out this and like fix something new for both myself and for the world around me. And I like to think I see that Affleck in him as well. But I loved him in this movie. I mean, he's the heart of the movie. He's the central character, even though he's considered the supporting character, which is fair, and that's I think what should be the case. I think where this film falls off for me is that I start to not care about the actual central character. Now that could be unfair because, the central character is both a kid and then an adult, or, a college kid at, at certain points. And so I don't really care about him becoming a writer. Now, I'm not saying that a movie about someone becoming a writer is a boring movie every time. I'm not going to say that. No, of course not. There are movies where people want to become writers that like fascinate me in something. I think this one didn't do that completely for me. I think what the problem I had was, it's interesting because William Monahan with that script, it's amazing at times with those monologues that he goes into. They're hysterical. They're a lot of fun. I don't know if there was much there that he put to the story. I will also give a lot of credit to the George Clooney direction, because George Clooney as a director has never been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that like, I don't know, he either goes too far with something or he holds way too back. And in this, he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to make the movie that is required of these performers.
Yeah. It's more straightforward.
It's just great to see that. And so I'd love to see him maybe go for it some other time, maybe. But for this one, it's just like, maybe relax there. But that was my issue. I will say this. You told me that, I shouldn't have put a C. I should have put a B. Before you said that, by the way, I did have B on there at first. And then I had, I at the last minute switched it to a C. So this movie was very, very, very close to a B for me. So I'll give you that much of a win.
I can't disagree with anything that you're saying. I think that those who've taken issue with the movie have sort of fallen into the same camp. And I get that. For me, I think the script being as straightforward and leveled as it was, I'm really just looking at these experiences of this young man as he, goes to school and all that stuff, as he grows up with, a mother that's working her ass off for him, with the tight family bonds, with the uncle at the bar, all of that. I just felt like it was very authentic, and it allowed for an emotional connection that I wouldn't otherwise have had, or usually don't have with movies like this.
Yeah.
And it was just a welcome change. I think, especially given a lot of the movies that we've seen recently, really kind of like high octane, we're either diving into the lives of the Ricardos, or, Spider-Man No Way Home, and we have 17 Spider-Man coming, but then just to have a straightforward movie like this, in a weird way, it's kind of the same vibe. Follow me here. Same vibe as The Many Saints in Newark, and the way that they touched on the family dynamics and stuff within that. I really love this movie. I watched it again recently and was just in love with it just as much as I was the first time. But I think Ben Affleck deserves a lot of the kudos that he's getting for this.
Oh God, yes.
All the kudos.
It's one of these things where boy, it's gonna be tough to see him get that nomination. I want it so bad. And like, we're complaining about Affleck not getting a nomination. The dude has Oscars on his mantle, Oscars plural. But like, to get one performance nomination, like just give that guy his due, and then he can go off into the sunset.
He won't go off into the sunset. Jersey Girl 2's coming.
Well, no, it's not.
Jilly 2. It's coming straight to theaters, unlike Disney Pixar's next movie, Turning Red. So following along the same lines of Luca and prior to that Soul, Disney has said, fuck you, Pixar, and they're throwing their movie Turning Red straight into on the Disney Plus on Friday, March 11th. I'm trying to see real quick, skimming this article to see if it's going to be a what do they call it, the Disney Premiere Plus or whatnot. It doesn't seem like it's going to be. I don't think the previous two were.
They weren't. I know those weren't. Like, those were straight up free on Disney Plus.
This is kind of crazy though, don't you think? Because I mean, you think about it, like they kept Raya and the Last Dragon in theaters.
So Raya and the Last Dragon, I can't remember if it was in theaters, but regardless, you had to pay money to see Raya and the Last Dragon.
It was in theaters and on Disney Plus at the same time.
That's what
at least they had that option of being in theaters. I don't understand with Pixar why they're dumping them all on Disney Plus, unless there's some weird contractual thing behind the scenes that we don't know about. But
I mean, Disney owns Pixar, so the contractual thing is Disney, we own you. Like Disney just owns it all. So unless there are the slightest bit of contractual obligations, I don't see how any of this can be, there. But it says here the international markets where Disney Plus isn't available, Turning Red will be released theatrically. This seems, this is very odd. I mean, It is something where Disney has always had a disrespect for Pixar. Truly has always had a disrespect for Pixar. I mean, I think all the way back to 2003 when Pixar left Disney and then just Disney bought Pixar.
That was also a Steve Jobs situation too, where Steve Jobs is like, middle finger to you, mouse.
The weirdest crap I've ever heard of. And so ever since then, they sink them. I mean, then they poach Lasseter, and then Lasseter has that lovely scandal. So, pretty much, then they screw it up. But for a while, Lasseter had some of the best Disney animated stories because he was giving off the best Disney animated stories to Disney Animation instead of to Pixar, and so Pixar started to suffer and just have sequels and have some pretty very rough original stuff as well. But yeah, every time this happens, I always wonder. It's another move where I'm just like, yeah, Disney does kind of really hate Pixar, and it's just a weird relationship considering that they own them.
I honestly, I'm trying to make sense of it, and the only thing I can think about is that it's something to do with Omicron and kids in theaters and stuff like that. That's the only thing that comes to mind. I mean, kind of like Amazon poaching Hotel Transylvania 4. Which they're debuting this week. I mean, I'm not comparing the two films, but in terms of who they're targeting, it's just it's weird to me. The other thing, I will say,
I think you're right. We didn't even mention that, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm almost going to just repeat it. This is COVID. This is Omicron. This stems from being safe. This is mainly about the different levels of like putting a cost on it on Disney Plus. Not that I want the cost on Disney Plus. I'd rather just watch it for free, or just keeping it in theaters and both. You're right. That does get a little bit weird, but I cut you off there.
No, I buy into that a little bit. And of course I want everyone to stay safe. And I understand that you don't want to bring kids into a theater when kids, young kids especially, can't be vaccinated. And they're currently at risk. But at the same time, you're the same company that just went in, along with Sony, but Spider-Man just went in the theaters and you're like, fuck it. Those theaters have been packed, wall-to-wall packed, and still are, according to box office results. So it's very odd to me. The other piece is it's March 11th that this was coming out. So you still had a little bit to, what?
No, I'm sorry. That I'm agreeing, but apparently I'm also wagging my finger like an 1800 school teacher. I'm like, how dare you say the right thing?
But I mean, so you had a little bit of time here. We're only on January 10th. I'm surprised you wouldn't just see at least the surge that's projected to go for another 2 weeks or so. See that through and see how things play out. Because the last piece here is it's a big FU to theaters as well. Theaters who rely on Disney films as big, a big influx of not only, I was going to say not only money, big money makers. Let's put it that way. They don't have that now, and that's a shame. I don't like the move. I don't understand the move. It seems like they're being very choosy with what they do, what they release in theaters. What are the upcoming Disney movies?
That's actually a really good question. I can't
Death on the Nile. Death on the Nile, February 11th. I mean, again, they're focusing on.
I thought you meant like Disney animated movies and stuff like that. I thought you were being an asshole.
I'm just looking at their full. I'm just looking at.
But that's actually interesting. The Death on the Nile will be in theaters when that's one that probably could benefit, because like that's going to be old people like us that don't want to go out, and we'll stay in and watch it. On some adult part of Disney Plus.
They don't have anything else really major early on. I mean, it's Turning Red is March 11th. They already are putting the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild on Disney Plus, which I think is a good move for that.
Yes.
Doctor Strange was moved to May. Bob's Burgers is at the end of May. So, and then Lightyear's in June. So, I mean, in terms of big releases early, they don't really have much going on.
And Lightyear is obviously going to be a Pixar, right? Or
yeah, Lightyear's going straight to Disney Plus.
Straight to Disney Plus. It is free. In fact, we'll give you $50 to watch it,
and a free Buzz Lightyear suit. All right, let's move on and talk about the wacky, wonderful Bill Murray. Spoiler alert: you just saw him in Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you saw Ghostbusters Afterlife,
or the trailer to Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Or the trailer to Ghostbusters Afterlife. I really love that. The last 10 minutes of that movie, I really liked.
I gotta watch that movie.
Oh fuck! I thought you saw it.
I did but I knew that from that stupid trailer. There was like a TV spot or something where literally like it's just like the three of them, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Well, they handle it well, I think.
Yeah, I'll still eventually see it. Matt, even friend of the pod, Matt even texted me and said, like, I think it was wonderful. And it's like, I'm past it now. I'm watching new releases here, and I'm watching some 1800s Criterion Collection bullshit.
Yeah, and then what was I going to say? The other thing with the movie, though, that I can't wait for you to see this because it pissed me off, and if I caught it, you'll definitely catch it. The after credit scene is completely. It runs at odds with something else that was said during the movie, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Anyway, Bill Murray is going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and he'll be playing a villain. He was on the Eli Manning show, which is a thing.
That's a thing now, yeah.
And Eli said, "Aren't you in like a superhero movie coming out?" And he said, "My power is I'm a bad guy." So there's not really, I'm trying to see if there's any rumors as to who he's playing, but I'm assuming it sounds like it's more of like a fun tongue-in-cheek type thing.
I would argue this is 100% the exact same thing as Jeff Goldblum in the Thor movie.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Thor Ragnarok. I mean, it's the perfect kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, we're casting someone this eccentric, this goofy. It's just, I see him just like on a throne, kind of raising his eyebrows while like, a person gets eaten by a monster. Like there's something there where it just works, where he's just kind of chilling, and but he's chilling in a very funny way, just like Goldblum was.
Well, and the other reason I think it's just like a minor thing is that this is the movie that Kang the Conqueror is introduced in. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because that's the reason they had Kang. I mean, sure, we're all saying, oh, Kang was in Loki, blah, 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 blah. He was awesome, but he was his big thing is going to be in the Ant-Man movie. So he's, Kang shows up at the end of that in the after credits and grabs a glove and says, I'll do it myself. Like he doesn't.
God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Either way, that's going to be fun. I like the Ant-Man movies. They're a lot of fun to me. They're just like, they don't seem like they have as high of a, I don't want to say as high as a bar, but they're not as serious as like the rest of them are, even though there's some pretty serious shit in there when you're talking about the quantum realm.
I think there's going to be now. I mean, they were always off to the side. Like the two Ant-Man movies don't matter at all. I mean, the only time Ant-Man's in there is the Civil War. And let's face it, kind of, sort of, Civil War doesn't really matter at all. Or at least Ant-Man in Civil War doesn't really matter at all. He's just a fun little side character. He's the funniest goddamn part of that, but he's like the fun little side character. And so, yeah, those two movies, like, it's sort of a who cares, and that's I think where people put them. When I look at them and I'm like, I'm enjoying both. Even the second one, which people don't enjoy, I still really enjoyed that one.
I like the second one a lot.
Yeah, they knock the Marvel movies like for like the typical Marvel movie style pretty well. They're a little bit more quirky. They're great movies, and and this one is going to be, but this one might get, like you just said, a little bit more serious because Kang is going to be chilling in there. And yeah, it could be a little bit more interesting.
Do you think Wes Anderson would ever direct a Marvel movie?
Now we need someone to ask him that in an interview and then him make a statement and then everyone say death to Wes Anderson or death to Marvel movies. And then the world slowly peels back again until we just like evolve into nothingness.
Well, the news story with Wes Anderson is that he's stepping into the world of Roald Dahl, which is really fascinating. He is going to be directing a feature adaptation of the wonderful story of Henry Sugar. Never heard of this, but it apparently is a bunch of stories in one, and the movie is set to be like 3 different stories or whatnot. So Deadline compares it to the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
So this is I think Roald Dahl, when he wrote this, he's like, oh, I want Wes Anderson to adapt this movie. this is like the most like obvious. First of all, Wes Anderson adapting a Roald Dahl novel. It's kind of like when Shirley Temple died. I was like, that didn't happen yet. And it was just like, you think it would already have happened. You think it would already be there, where it's just like, of course he would. I mean, all of his movies are Roald Dahl novels. And in this case, I really, really love this idea. I am not even that big of a Wes Anderson guy, but this is his home. This is his home where he's doing multiple stories in his little like stupid sets that are all magical and shit.
Oh my God.
This is exactly where he should be. I love it.
Well, involved so far are Benedict Cumberbatch playing Sugar, Henry Sugar, Ralph Fiennes, Dev Patel, and Ben Kingsley. So no women apparently, but
also not a kids movie apparently. Like you think Roald Dahl is normally for the kids, and like those were the least kids I think I've ever heard of.
And this is part of Netflix. They acquired all of the properties of Roald Dahl. I guess the Roald Dahl company, essentially, they acquired that, so they're really diving into that and hoping to build a world around it. Cool though. I mean, I just, like you said, I would expect a kids project first. But apparently, so I'm reading this as we're talking. As for Anderson, this would mark the second time he's explored the world of Dahl, having previously directed the Oscar-nominated animated pick, The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm glad there was one. Yes. Okay. That makes more. Now I'm happy. I'm glad that did happen. Oh, because that seems like that should have happened. Okay. Whew.
Netflix is developing a Taika Waititi and Phil Johnston series based on the world of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, okay. Now we need to stop. Like, I understand they bought this for probably like billions of dollars, but like slow it down a little bit. Let us digest this stuff.
And an adaptation of Matilda the musical. My favorite part of this is
actually I'll take that.
We talked about this a while back, I think, because essentially an adaptation of the musical, which is adapted from the film, which is adapted from a book.
Those happen way more than we think, and I forget. Those actually, I forget what. There's a few other examples. The Producers, I believe, is one of the examples of that happened, where The Producers wasn't a musical, became a musical from Mel Brooks on Broadway, and then after that, it then became in 2005 the one with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick.
That's so crazy.
But it's weird because the original still also had the musical, like some of the musical numbers. It just wasn't a straight up musical. I don't know.
I think they were talking about that with what's it called? Tina Fey, Mean Girls, doing a film version of the musical, because the music is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That'll be a tough one. It's too good of a regular movie. I'd have a hard time.
Yeah, it would be really weird. All right. Have you ever watched Beavis and Butthead?
Not a single minute.
You've never watched a single minute of it?
It's not that I avoided it. It's just, it never really, I never tripped over it.
You never tripped over it. Well, let's watch the trailer for the original movie.
Okay, it sounds
to get you into the mix here. Let me get past this ad because apparently
no free ads on the pod.
This is so dumb.
I believe this is existing.
Top quality.
In cooperation with authorities, we request your assistance in apprehending America's 2 most wanted fugitives. Sketch artists have prepared the following likenesses. Beavis and Butthead hit the road to seek their fortune.
All right, that's enough.
That was I appreciate you going to the cleavage and stopping it.
Well, Beavis and Butthead's coming back. Paramount Plus seems to be dipping into all their old shit, and they're like, you know what? Let's do this again, and we'll make it an exclusive and play on those people that loved or that were fans of the property in the past. But they're doing a new movie and more on Paramount Plus, according to Mike Judge, who's the creator. And yeah, the original series was only on for 7 years. I felt like that was on much longer, but it was probably just like the late night MTV like reruns that I remember seeing.
A lot of syndication,
yeah. And then Beavis and Butthead Do America came out in '96, but fascinating.
I trust in Mike Judge. The fact that Mike Judge is involved is great. I think you keep the characters there. I'm looking. It looks like they are sketching them to look the way they would now, which is just beyond hysterical. So
I was trying to figure that out because he says like they need to get back into shape or something.
Like I don't know if he's officially put them in like that, but if they look like that in this movie, I think that'd be pretty damn funny.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
Oh man.
So that's the quick story on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I wish I could like talk a bunch about it. I just really don't know. I love Mike Judge. He does great stuff. So keep on keeping on.
Did you ever hear the I Am Cornholio?
Oh yeah, no. See, I know the references and everything. Yeah, I with the shirt with the thing and the that stuff.
Yeah, we're about to get it.
Oh, here we go. Oh yeah.
May we ask you a question? Are you threatening me? My bunghole will ask the question. Why do I not use pee-pee for my pee-pee?
The beloved always did like riddles.
You will be of my bunghole, for I am the great Cornholio. I need pee-pee for my bunghole.
Like I will watch that. That will be one of those late night shows that I'm like, oh, I'm tired, but I want to put something on, and I'll throw that on and love it.
I mean, it did make me chuckle. I'll give you that. Like I can't say I'm above it. It did make me chuckle.
How did you feel about the movie The Raid?
This is we all have our list of shame when it comes to movies.
You've never seen it.
I've never seen The Raid or The Raid 2. And I'm telling you, this is one where people say like, The Raid 2 is the greatest action movie of all time. They say The Raid 2 is like the greatest thing that's ever existed. And so, my rule is I have a million streaming services. One of them needs to be delivered to me. Deliver me The Raid. Deliver me The Raid Part 2. I will watch them. I promise. Streaming services.
Well, here's what's happening. Netflix is remaking it.
That's not going to go well.
Quote unquote reimagining it.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. So here's where it gets interesting. Gareth Evans, so it's his original movie. He's producing, as is Michael Bay, and Patrick Hughes is directing. So that's a lot of different hands in the pot, so to speak.
Why bother doing it if you're just going to be producing? Maybe this is like a behind the scenes movie situation, but it's kind of like I'm Gareth Edwards. It's like my movie's about to be remade. For me, I feel like I would be like, I don't want to be anywhere near it. Not that I wish it harm in any way, but I'm just like, I'm not going to do work. I'd made the movie already. I'm done. Like I did it. I'm gonna go sit over here. You guys do work and you do the remake.
Well, sometimes producers, that's what they get. Like, you know, like they're on it just to say they're on it.
Yeah, that's true.
That is whatever reason. True. I mean, I think probably goes a long way towards fans who are skeptical, or may at least, to get them and to say like, look, he's involved. So this version set in Philadelphia's drug-infested Badlands. We call that Kensington, where an elite undercover DEA task force climbs a ladder of cartel informants to catch an elusive kingpin. Wasn't that what was that one movie that was set in Philly with oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God. I can see him, but I
give me more. Give me more.
I'm working on it.
Plot.
He was like a murderer that was arrested, and he kind of was like leading the police on like a weird.
Oh, with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No.
Where the snitch.
No. Fudge. He was in Olympus Has Fallen. Is the actor
Gerard Butler?
Thank you. Gerard Butler, and the movie was called I don't know, because everything that pops up is one of the fallens. Olympus has fallen, Angel has fallen, London has fallen. Oh, what was it? Law Abiding Citizen.
Oh, yeah.
That's what came to mind right away. Not the name, obviously. But yeah, hey, whatever. I mean, The Raid is definitely, having read about it, is definitely up there in terms of one of the best action movies in people's opinions. But we have to face the facts that foreign films are not accessible for everyone here. Yeah. They are. They're just not watched as fluently, I almost said, as regularly as homemade films.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was a foreign film. How about that? There we go. So that's something.
It premiered at Toronto Film Festival in 2012.
I'm just gonna like piss a lot of people off by the fact that I'm gonna probably watch Drive My Car before I watch The Raid. I'll watch the 3-hour Japanese introspective film before I watch The Raid.
It's 3 hours long?
No, Drive My Car is, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. They left the camera on for an hour.
Oh my God, I'm so mad. Also, breaking news here, not really. But did you see what leaked on Batgirl today?
I mean, no.
That was a simple answer.
I was gonna.
I did.
No, I did not see what leaked. Yeah, that's what I was gonna make an inappropriate joke, but I decided to go against it. That's what I was pausing on.
There is a picture of a mural from the set, and it has Robin included. So everyone's like,
"Is it Robin included in stuff?"
Robin died in the Snyderverse.
This is far from the Snyderverse.
Who knows what it is? I don't think it's DC
I know it ain't
anymore.
the Snyderverse. Like, wait, is this like a screenshot from the Batman, the one that's coming out?
No.
This is for the Batgirl.
Batgirl movie.
The Batgirl movie that's going to be on HBO Max.
Yes.
Okay. They have a trailer for that already?
No.
What's the mural?
Hold on, I'm working on finding it. There are pictures from the set that's going up.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to find the pic. Oh, here it is. Coming to a screen in front of you, right? Meow. Boop, 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 boop. So that's a mural from the set. So that's clearly Michael Keaton's Batman.
Oh, and that's Robin.
But Robin, like,
well, that's Michael Keaton's Robin, which was like Chris O'Donnell.
That was not Michael Keaton's Robin. Michael Keaton didn't have a Robin. That was George Clooney / Val Kilmer's Chris O'Donnell Robin.
Did Chris O'Donnell last through both George Clooney and Val Kilmer?
Yeah, well, they each only lasted a movie.
But Chris O'Donnell then lasted 2 movies.
Yeah.
Look at that guy, huh? Boy, he's doing well. Oh, he's not really doing well for himself anymore. What is he?
Yeah, he's doing that.
What is he doing now?
That TV show.
He's on a CBS show.
Yeah. He's set for life.
He's got several houses now.
Yeah, that show. What is he on?
NCI Hawaii's 506.
How's that show? Wait, when you Google his name, the first question, like on Google where it says people also ask, is Chris O'Donnell related to Rosie O'Donnell? NCIS LA is what he's on. That's the third question right after, is Chris O'Donnell still acting? So that tells you how good everything's going.
You wonder, because people do watch those shows, I think.
Maybe. I don't know. All right. Let's chat rants and raves.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start off with a very important rave.
Rave?
Yes. Chef Boyardee does not get enough attention. And I want an introspective on him. I want a documentary on Netflix or something to look into Chef Boyardee, or even that Business Wars podcast I love. I want to see the battle between SpaghettiOs and Chef Boyardee, because I bet that's really fascinating, like how they were trying to corner the shitty Italian food market. But beefaroni is incredible. And I had a random craving for beefaroni today. So what did I get? Beefaroni. Don't give me any of their raviolis. I don't want their raviolis or their spaghetti and meatballs. They're fake meatballs. I'm not dealing with that shit. I want the beefaroni. Give me those noodles. They are delicious. It is delicious. It was delicious. I just ate a big bowl of it. The other piece of this story that I really want to highlight is that there's a difference between microwaving your beefaroni and actually making it on the stove. When I was a kid and my babysitter was making beefaroni for me, she put it on the stove, and I told her she made it wrong. Like she seasoned it wrong or something. And I wouldn't eat it. So in case you're wondering how I was as a kid, there you go. Beefaroni, great. End rave.
I need to ask you, if you're talking about a documentary, I'm talking about a narrative show or a narrative movie. Who would we cast for Chef Boyardee? I'm looking at the images. He's rather plump. He's got a straight up circular face.
Jerry from Parks and Recreation.
Holy shit!
Nailed it. Or Ben Affleck. I mean, this is his type of movie too.
I see a lot of Ben Affleck in Chef Boyardee. Okay. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of a sad rave. And that is, we lost a lot of celebrities like so far in 2022, like kind of an unreal amount. And there's one that like truly had an impact on Hollywood and like the legend of Hollywood and everything. Robert Durst was someone that truly was just an amazing man. No,
oh my God.
So I had to do that because I need to loosen up for this, because when I found out about this on Friday, I was genuinely saddened by the passing of Sidney Poitier. Poitier. I always make sure I pronounce that the way I do. I don't know why. I really got to get that in. But Sidney Poitier, I truly love this guy's work. Very limited amount, by the way. He was very selective with his work. He was very interesting about what he chose. We don't know anything from the past 20 years. I mean, we don't know anything. He was around. He was an activist. He spoke out a lot and stuff like that. But in terms of movies, he didn't really do anything for the past 20 years or stuff like that. He retired, and then he truly meant it. But before that, we have legendary performances. I recommend In the Heat of the Night. I truly recommend Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Those are the two best for me. Lilies of the Field is what he won the Oscar for. He was the first Black actor to win Best Actor. The second was Denzel Washington. There's obviously a problem and a gap there, but we're not really going to get into that right now. But to just think about that, you don't have Denzel Washington without Sidney Poitier. Not to say that Denzel does not have that talent on his own. Not to say that he couldn't blaze his own trail in that situation. But you see in Denzel the influence from Sidney Poitier. You see when Sidney is in a scene, he is commanding that room the entire time. He could be sitting in a corner, he's there. You know exactly where he is when he's blocking. You know his when I say his name, if you ever heard him, you're thinking of his voice right now. He was insecure about his accent. He was insecure about his voice, but it was the best thing about him. The way he talked, the way he spoke. He was criticized in the civil rights era for being someone that, was considered, I hate this phrase, but it was considered an Uncle Tom. He was considered someone that hung out with the fancy white folks and everything. But it was almost like he was the exact opposite. He was someone that knew when to be a revolutionary. And in the heat of the night, there is a white character that slaps him right in the face, and immediately he slaps him back. That wasn't in the script. And so every single actor completely goes completely reacts in that same way. There's never going to be another actor like him. He is truly just magnificent. It almost looked like as if he were completely natural the entire way. I will continue to keep on watching his movies. I will continue to watch movies that I haven't seen of his, because there are those there. Just very quickly, A Raisin in the Sun, Patch of Blue, Lilies of the Field, just so many different ones. Sneakers in the 90s. He was super old, and it was this dumb comedy where he's kind of amazing in it. But truly, of all the celebrities, he might be the one that people know the least about, unfortunately, but he definitely is one of the most popular. I will share one more thing. It's when we saw In the Heat of the Night, the first scene. I'm showing Sam In the Heat of the Night, and she just immediately goes, holy shit, when she saw him, just the presence, the intensity, by just sitting there at the train and stuff like that, just by staring at someone. It is just truly magnificent. R.I.P. Sidney. We'll miss you, but we'll still watch you.
I always think of A Raisin in the Sun. I'm looking at his list right now and on IMDb, and that's the one that actually comes to mind. That and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Oh, Guess Who's Coming. They're so good. It's just, Raisin in the Sun is always one I always forget about, because he's he does this job where he does this in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Raisin in the Sun. They're likable characters. They're very likable characters. But they've got flaws. Yeah. They've got pretty solid flaws, and you sort of see them, and he accentuates them throughout. But
that's always refreshing to see, though, playing characters that have flaws but still contribute to the overall message of the story, whatever that might be. I mean, Raisin in the Sun is. I was going to say it's very different than Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, but not in terms of some of the stuff they're communicating.
No.
Side note, I was researching the real Chef Boyardee a little bit, and this is what he really looked like.
Okay, so I still think Jim O'Hare from Parks and Rec. I think you have we'd have to cut his hair.
I'm also thinking the guy from Fantastic Beasts.
Oh God, yes. Oh, that's just unfair though. That's just too perfect.
Or Jack Black. I mean, that would be the safe bet.
See, Jack Black would be the easy one, though. That would be the one they would choose. They wouldn't get you want to go authentic, but everyone would choose Jack Black.
Well, I'm starting my campaign to get a documentary made. I just tweeted about it. He landed a job in the Big Apple in 1915.
Okay, now I love this. Now I need this to happen.
At the Plaza Hotel.
Yes.
It's actually quite insane. Also, I was looking. I really was listening, I swear. There's a list of all their discontinued products. Beefagetti, cheesy nacho twistaroni, chicken jalapeno Alfredo. What?
These are all ones where it's they're marketing towards the drunk kids. This is marketing towards the drunk kids 101.
Justice League pasta shapes with meatballs.
Kind of drunk kids.
Kicking sloppy joes.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea, but I'm so into this. Pepperoni pizza ravioli, and then if that didn't work, pepperoni pizza rolli.
I love how they may have run out of label ink, and they're like, "We got to get the ravi out of there. Just call it Oli."
Spicy beef ravioli. No. Who are you marketing towards?
That would be rough.
Oh my god, insane. All right, so we have a lot of movies coming out this week. Old Strangers on VOD and digital. Old Strangers is an upcoming horror movie. I'll be talking on Wednesday night with the director of the film on an Instagram Live, so tune into that. Belle hits limited theaters. Eternals is going to Disney Plus on Wednesday. Scream hits theaters. Can't wait. Hotel Transylvania, Transformania. It's Amazon Prime Video.
What a title!
Italian Studies hits limited theaters. It's the Vanessa Kirby film. And The Tragedy of Macbeth hits Apple TV Plus. So that's happening.
So I would actually be interested in the one thing. Oh, it's in limited theaters, so it probably won't cross my way. But Belle is like the one threatening to be a what is it called? Animated contender. Which is it's a low stakes contender. It seems like it's like a far cry. I don't see it happening, but it could.
Yeah. It's in my email. Never watched it yet. But yeah, that's happening. I had one other thing I wanted to share, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, if you are interested in potentially winning a copy of the upcoming film Escape from Mogadishu, a Blu-ray copy, please do the following. 1, like, comment, and subscribe on this video on StreamYard. On YouTube. If you are listening in the podcast, make sure that you head to YouTube and like, comment, subscribe. Then send me a direct message at Guy at the Movies and let me know that you did it. I'll double check it. First 3 people to do it get copies of it. Boom. They're all sitting here.
Show all 3. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. They're all different.
Oh, wow.
They're not.
Oh.
Anyway, Sean, what do you got going on this week? Anything fun? You getting married again?
Oh, God, there's not much going on for me. It's going to be let's see. I'm looking at the Houses game, which is do you have $2 billion by any chance?
No.
Shit. Okay, yeah, so I can't get a house then.
My lease is up I have to make a commitment by the middle of next month, and I'm like stressing the fuck out about it.
How long would your lease be?
A year.
That's not. I mean, a year is still a long time, but thank God it's not a 2-year thing. Because
but I've been looking around, and it's just like prices are so insane right now.
It's a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah,
what's great? Prices are insane, and then also those are the asking prices. Yeah, they're all. They're not even close.
And listen, tune in here for all of the hot gossip around life's challenges. And
this is so good. I can do. My movie talk for the past 50 minutes was good, but when it talks about houses, like buying a house sucks.
Don't grow up. It is the biggest sham.
Yeah. Just stay and watch movies in your parents' basement. Trust me, it works great.
Sean, on that note, till next week. Bye. As always, thanks for listening. You can follow both Joe and Sean on Instagram at Guy at the Movies and Math Teacher Movies. New episodes of the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean are available every Wednesday morning, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, be on the lookout for special spoiler pods, where we dive deep into the latest film releases. If you like what you hear, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next